Hello and welcome to Accessible Computer Podcast. Adrian Thomason here, and today just give me the chance to simply say Happy New Year for 2022. It is the first podcast episode in this year. Today I will introduce you a new series of podcasts, probably will be 6 or 7 episodes, offered with guidance by David Griffith. This series is about an add-on for NVDA, NVDA on Macs, a using guide of Global Commands Extension Addon. This is an add-on for NVDA Screenreader, and you'll see quite an extensive review on how to use this extension in a few episodes. Thanks again to David Griffith for taking all this time to produce those episodes.
NVDA Macs, a guide to using the NVDA Global Commands Extension. Episode 1, Introduction.
Hello, this is David Griffith here, begin a new set of podcasts on the NVDA Global Commands Extension Add-on. It is an add-on for NVDA, so it doesn't come by default with NVDA, but the add-on does provide many extremely useful features, some of which will be familiar to JAWS users and some of which are not even available to JAWS. It is a brilliant add-on which adds tremendous functionality to NVDA, and I use it every single day. I would be lost without it. So today's date is
the 12th of December 2021. Microsoft Windows version 21H1 OS build 19th.
That's all we need. So it's not the absolute latest version of Windows 10, but I think that everything I show you here should operate just as easily in later versions of Windows 10 and indeed Windows 11. The version of NVDA I'm using,
NVDA Global Commands Extension Application Contexts Informations Dialog. Edit read-only multi-line application, var.exe, NVDA 2021.3.
So that's a very quick example of how the add-on adds functionality. I use what I will call the global keystroke plus A, and that gave me the application information, and that will happen everywhere with the NVDA Global Commands Extension. And I should also report that the version of the add-on I'm using is 10.3. The add-on is vigorously updated, and it is important, I think, to try and keep updated. You will be prompted from within NVDA to update and download the latest version as it becomes available. Before we get on to where to find the add-on and how to install it, I should explain to you what the add-on basically offers. And I suppose the best way to do that is to briefly describe the list of podcasts that I'm going to do on this add-on, and you will get some idea of what it will offer. Today will be largely about installing the add-on and about accessing the help and command menu and the user guide, and we'll move on to other functions as we move through the podcast series. So to avoid me having to do feats of memory, I've put some brief notes about the podcast series that I plan to do here.
Episode 2, Managing Clipboard.
So the next episode will be looking at managing the clipboard.
Reporting copy, paste, cut, etc.
And that would be when you're using your command keys to copy and paste and cut text.
Append functions to the clipboard.
That will be appending text to the clipboard in much the same way that JAWS provides.
Copy date and time to clipboard. Speech history.
The speech history function is very useful in this add-on.
Integrating with Windows Clipboard History.
And finally, we'll look at integrating this add-on with Windows Clipboard History.
And much more. Blank. Episode 3. Managing volume controls.
So episode 3 will be all about managing volume controls, which can be very important for access of different applications, not just for convenience. And just to go down quickly through this.
Application and system. How to set and adjust on-the-fly volume levels for applications, main speaker volume. Set defined volumes for NVDA. Muting and unmuting specific applications. Blank.
So all of that is much easier to manage within the Global Commands Extension, as I'll show in that episode, than it is from using normal volume controls in Windows.
Episode 4 Window Management. For Explorer Window Management.
So we're looking at Explorer window management, but also
Application Window Management.
And they will be covering various things in that podcast, including
Auto Maximize function.
auto maximizing of windows, if that's what you want.
F10 Extended Application and Window Task Management.
This is a brilliant feature, which we'll come to in that episode about managing all your open applications in Windows.
Close all windows function.
The close all windows function.
Access to system tray.
And accessing the system tray in multiple ways.
Blank. Episode 5. Text Analyzer.
People have often said that there's no text analyzer for NVDA, but in fact there is, and it's in this add-on, and I think it's very good. I actually find it easier to use than the JAWS text analyzer. And in this episode, we'll cover some of these features, including
why we need it and how to use it. F8 Granulated Analyze functions. F7 Character Reporting. Blank. Episode 6.
Episode 6, which is the last main episode of the podcast.
Managing voice profiles. Why you would want voice profiles. 10 possible voice slots. Setting up voice profiles. Implementing on-the-fly voice switch shortcut.
So that's what we'll be covering in episode 6, will be the easy switching of voice profile between different synthesizers. Again, a feature available in JAWS, but not easily available in NVDA.
Blank. Episode 7.
And episode 7 is really, at the moment, planned to be a catch-up episode to put together some of the other useful features not easily located within the previous episodes, and it would include things like
miscellaneous and the rest, loop element navigation on the web, file folder save report options, Windows restart options. Blank.
So that's the plan at the moment. It may be that that will be subject to change in the nature of the way as the podcast develops. If some podcasts become longer, and I sometimes need to split them into two, but hopefully that will be the areas that we will cover. So I should say, if you want to contact me, you should email me on DAJ, that Delta Alpha Juliet .Griffith, that Griffith without an S on the end, so that GRIFF for Freddie ITH @gmail.com. So how do we actually get hold of this? Unfortunately, it is not included in the NVDA community add-on repository, but it is easily available through a web search.
Search landmark. Search edit has auto.
I use Start Page in my search engine, so I'm just going to type in
capital N, capital V, capital A, NVDA, capital G, LOBAL Global, capital COMMAND Commands, capital XTEN Extension, capital ADDON Addon.
So we read that.
NVDA Global Commands Extension Addon.
That's all I've typed in. If I could press enter.
Loading page. Loading complete.
Then if I press H.
Web results heading level 3. Paulba 19/NVDA Extension Global Plugin, NVDA Add-on GitHub heading level 3 link.
And it comes up with the first search result. So if you press enter on that, then you should go to the GitHub page ready to download the NVDA Global Commands Extension. What will then happen is that once you've downloaded it, it will come down as a file, which is an add-on file, which I'll just show you.
This PC with D. Desktop D. Documents D. Downloads 4 of 12.
I just press Windows E in order to bring up Explorer, and now I just press enter on downloads.
Downloads. Items view list. TID1 of NVDA Extension Global Plugin 10.3.NVDA Addon 1 of 575.
Right, so that there, and if I press enter,
Add-on installation dialog. About add-on, button Alt plus A. Yes button Alt plus No button Alt plus N.
and if you press yes, enter on yes,
About add-on, yes button Alt plus Y. Add-on installation dialog. You are about to install version 10.3 of NVDA Global Commands Extension, which appears to be already installed. Would you still like to update? Yes button Alt plus Y.
so because I've already got it installed, I'm going to tab to.
No button. Downloads window.
But normally, if you're in that situation, you would just say yes by pressing enter on the yes button, away you go. Now, once the add-on is installed, you access all the commands by using what's called the layered keystroke, which from here on, I will call global, because otherwise it will get too wordy to keep on calling it the layered keystroke or the NVDA Global Commands layered keystroke. But by default, the layered keystroke is insert plus J, and you can certainly keep it like that if that's what you want to do. But I strongly recommend that you change that to make it much easier to use with a single keystroke. It makes using the add-on far quicker over the time and far easier. Now, to do that, what you do is bring up the NVDA menu again with insert or whatever you're using the NVDA key plus N.
NVDA menu.
And then you go down to
Preferences submenu P.
and then across,
Settings S.
and then you go down to input gestures,
Speech punctuation input gestures N.
and that would be your input gestures. You press enter on that.
Input gestures dialog. Tree view. Level 0 Braille collapsed 1 of 28.
Then there's a whole number of, with all sorts of collapsed tree views and stuff, but you spend hours going through it all, but just press N.
N. NVDA Global Commands Extension collapsed 14 of 28 level 0.
And then open that up.
Expanded. 35 items.
By pressing the right arrow, and you'll see there's 35 items, and you could start cursing down. You'll hear all the different commands.
Level 1 activate or disactivate text analyzer. Command F8, 1 of 35.
It's got all the keys which are available, but again, I would press L.
L. Launch commands is interpreter of add-on collapse 27 of 35 level 1.
Doesn't sound that intuitive, but you simply would then tab across to
Execute the script button Alt plus E.
You don't want that one.
Add button Alt plus A.
But you do want that one, and you would press space on that.
Space. Pressed. Unavailable. Tree view. Level 2 enter input gesture. 2 of 2.
And it will say input gesture. In my case, what I've decided to use is the graph key, which is above the tab key.
Context menu.
And then once you've done that, you didn't hear it be announced, but I have just pressed it. You'll hear the context menu, and it will give you options.
Desktop keyboard. Keyboard, all layouts.
And you say keyboard level layouts, and that's the one I would use. So I press enter.
Input gestures dialog. Tree view. Key remove button. Reset to factory. OK button.
And then you just simply press OK. And now, if I press the graph key above the tab key on my keyboard, you will hear a beep. And then all sorts of commands will become available. For example,
volume 45, volume 50.
I'm just using control up and down keys now.
Volume 45, volume 40, volume 35, volume 4, volume 4, volume 50.
So I press the graph key again to exit that. And you'll hear a different tone. So that just simple press of the graph key will enable access to all the functions of the NVDA Global Commands Extension. So how can you start to learn what can be a pretty bewildering set of functions that you've now added to NVDA? Well, the easiest way is to press the layer key again. So either your default insert J, we've made it the graph key. It could just as easily be something else. And then H.
NVDA Global Commands Extension Shells Scripts Dialog. Description, command list. Add, to clipboard, the selected text, X.
So what you now have is a list of all the commands available in NVDA Global Commands Extension as a list that you can simply press up and down with the arrow keys.
Allow you to copy or type complex symbol, F4. Analyze the line under System Cursor, Control plus F8. Analyze the paragraph under System Cursor, Control plus Shift plus F8.
So it's still quite confusing, but it's good to be able to go to this. But the great thing is that it enables you to use first level navigation. So for example, if I press D,
Decrease volume of current focused application, down arrow. Decrease volume display add-on settings dialog, F display add-on users guide, G.
So using first level navigation, pressing D and down arrow a few times, and you'll come down to user guide.
Display add-on users guide, G.
But if you press enter now, you not only learn that you can display the add-on user guide by pressing G, but if you press enter now,
Downloads loading complete. NVDA Global Commands Extension 10.3. Heading Level 1 NVDA Global Commands Extension Users Manual. Author, Paul B. 19 URL, link Paul B.
Press Control to stop NVDA. So I think this is a brilliant way of learning the add-on. So once you've learned from the add-on, from using this, that you don't have to go to H, you just press the layer key plus G.
Loading complete. NVDA Global Commands Extension 10.3. Heading Level 1 NVDA.
So any function within the add-on is available from the menu, or you can learn the keystroke for quick access to the function. Very quickly, you will start to find quick access to the function rather than having to use the menu. So for example, I know by pressing my global key plus K.
Confirmation dialog. Are you sure you want to close all windows? Yes button Alt plus Y.
I don't want to do that, but I know that's a quick way of getting to that function.
NVDA.
So if I go to, for example, my notepad document.
Carriage return. David Griffith selected.
I'm just selecting that text. But if I go the global and then plus X.
Added.
It says added, and that means that that text has now been appended to the clipboard, not just copied. So it makes using the add-on very, very easy once you start to learn the keystrokes which are necessary. But just to reiterate, if you can't remember, just press the global key and then H for help.
NVDA Global Commands Extension Shells Scripts Dialog. Description, Command List. Add to clipboard the selected text, X.
So you can then start the cursor down.
Allow you to copy, analyze the line, analyze the paragraph, and analyze the sentence, analyze the word under System Cursor, Shift plus F8.
The only real downside to this application is there's so many functions inside of it that you can get almost bewildered and find it too much to take on at once. But no matter, with this approach of the help menu, you can try out each function easily. And hopefully the podcast series will also help you in outlining the many useful functions of this add-on. Okay, I think that's probably enough for the first episode of this podcast, and hope to see you next time. So bye-bye for now.